George Bush is the worst president the U.S. has ever seen. Ice cream is way better than vanilla. Gay marriage needs to be legalized. The New York Giants are the best football team.
Opinions. We all have them and take for granted the idea that we have the right to express them. On Colgate's campus today, we are encouraged to form opinions, challenge the opinions of others, and explore new ways of thinking. Flash back to the 1840s, and Colgate, or Madison University as it was called at the time, had a campus with a much different vibe. In 1845, George Gavin Ritchie entered the Madison University Seminary, planning on becoming a Baptist minister. Ritchie was a radical addition to college life. He first shook things up when he proposed a student-run newspaper. Entitled The Hamilton Student, the newspaper would be a semi-monthly mirror of religion, literature, science, and the arts. The faculty was hesitant to go along with such a project. They feared that the articles published could stir up the student body, causing riots and protests that the university just did not want to have to deal with. Eventually, the faculty allowed the newspaper to be published, as long as no political subjects were discussed. Ritchie was unhappy at such restrictions, but in the interest of being able to publish, he agreed to the terms. In the first article, Ritchie himself wrote,
"The student enters not the arena of party. It is to be the organ of no party in church or state, of no organization of set men."
The term seemed to be clearly understood. The Hamilton Student was to be in no way political. The first 5 issues of the paper went smoothly, with both students and faculty being happy with the results. The issue for January 15th, however, caused quite a stir on campus. George Gavin Ritchie was an abolitionist. He firmly believed the slaves needed to be granted their freedom and decided to share this view in an editorial entitled Equal Suffrage and Religious Press. While the article is barely 2 columns long, Ritchie clearly expressed his opinion on the outcome of the fall elections in New York. Dismayed about how few people in New York cared to vote on the issue of equal male suffrage or even vote against doing so, Ritchie writes,
70 years ago, the great principle of equal rights to all men was recognized in theory and to a certain extent adopted in practice. For 70 years have politicians been extolling this principle as the safety of our republican form of government, and yet how hollow have been their professions of devotedness to the extensions of this principle.
The opinions Ritchie expressed were exactly what the faculty did not want published. Because Ritchie had violated the terms under which he could publish the newspaper, the faculty gave Ritchie the option to rewrite his controversial article or face an immediate suspension. Feeling that the issue must be addressed, Ritchie went ahead and published the article in the January 15th edition of the Hamilton Student. As promised, Ritchie was suspended, and after further discussion by the faculty, Ritchie was ultimately expelled from Madison University without receiving a diploma. Ritchie did not go easily, however. He continued to show up to class, claiming that he had not been informed of the faculty's final decision and that he had the absolute right to be there. While eventually Ritchie recognized his expulsion, he continued to write, starting another newspaper, the Hamilton Student and Christian Reformer, voicing his opinions and discussing issues that were much more political. Passing away at the age of 33 in 1853, Ritchie worked for the abolitionist cause right up until his death. Since Ritchie's time, opinions have only been expressed more and more on Colgate's campus. Newspaper articles discussed current issues both on and off campus, such as racial discrimination, the current economic situation, and political policies. George Gavin Ritchie was unconventional in his time, but his dedication to his beliefs paved the way for other Colgate students to do the same.